welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are all doing amazing. Today I wanted to do a video on how to master the smoky eye, an easy way to do a smoky eye, just basically how to do a smoky eye 101, the perfect smoky eye. You get what I'm saying. Especially with it being like around the holidays right now, I just think more people are gonna be wanting to do smoky looks for parties and New Year's Eve, stuff like that. And I always kind of thought smoky eyes were hard to do, but they're actually super easy as long as you take the right steps, and it actually doesn't take a ton of different eyeshadows to create a classic smoky eye. So let's get started. I'm gonna start off with some prep steps just to like get everything situated. So I'm gonna prime my eyes really quick. I'm using the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion. Next, I'm gonna be taking an illuminator. I'm gonna use the Milani Soft Focus Glow. This one is in Bronze Glow. Whoa. Okay, this is the problem with filming in natural light. Holy. Just give it a minute. It's going away. The sun's going away. Let's go. Behind a cloud. Okay, we're back. So normally I would do my eyes and then my base, but because we're not going to be using a lot of powder eyeshadows, we can do base and then eyes. If I was using a lot of powder shadows where there's the potential for a ton of fallout, I would do eyes and then face, but we'll be just a-okay doing base first. Now, the reason I want to use an illuminator is because when I'm doing smokier, heavier eye looks, I want the skin to look as radiant and healthy as possible. So for a foundation, I'm gonna be using this one. It's L'Oreal Infallible Shaping Stick Foundation. I use the shade 407. And I'm just going to lightly apply this all over. I'm gonna start off with one light layer, keep this nice and manageable, and then we will build on to the coverage if we feel like we need more. And then I'm just going to blend this out. I'm using a Bobbi Brown foundation brush. Just giving it a nice light buff. To conceal and brighten the under eyes, I'm using the Maybelline Superstay Concealer. This one is in the shade Sand. This is a great full coverage concealer, but you can sheer it out and make it soft and natural looking. So just a little bit right under there. I always like a little bit on my nose just to highlight the bridge of my nose, and then I will take my fingers, warm it up, and push it in. And you guys are seeing, this concealer is amazing and it just blends out like a dream. I feel like you don't even need a tool to blend it out. It blends out amazing with just warm fingertips. First thing I always like to do is take some sort of bronzer or face powder to set the eye primer and concealer. I'm gonna be using this one from Physicians Formula, and all I'm going to do is lightly tap this all over the eyelid and up into the crease. Not quite to that brow bone area, but we just wanna lay this down as a transition shade, and it just helps prevent further creasing. I'm into a creasy eye look, so if you guys like a creasy look, then you can skip this step and go straight into shadow. But most people don't like a creasy eye look, and this is a great way to prevent your eyeshadow from migrating around your eye area. Now, obviously there are many different ways to do a smoky eye, but I'm gonna say two of the main shapes you're gonna see are gonna be smoky eyes that are a little bit more rounded and have you know, circular edges to them in the way that they're blended out. This is gonna obviously in turn make your eyes look more round, and potentially could also like accentuate more of the crease and just make the eye look a little bit more deep set. But today I wanted to show you guys how I like to do a smoky eye. Personally, my favorite way is to do more of the cat shape, where it elongates the eye, accentuates the length of the eye, and just kind of creates like that slender, elongated eye. For my first layer of definition, I'm gonna start off with a deep brown eyeshadow. This is an eyeshadow pencil from Laura Mercier. It's in the shade Cocoa, and I'm gonna pick it up on a little smudge brush from Urban Decay. First order of business is just going to be pressing this brown shade as close to your top lash line as you possibly can. I'm gonna go all the way from the outer corner to the inner corner. And I'm doing these little stamping motions. I'm not swiping. I want to have as much control as possible to do a little bit of a flick. And I like my flick to go more upward because it just takes the eye in that upward. And then you can blend it out a little bit more. And I'm gonna take the blendy side of this brush and really blend it out so that it's nice and hazy. You know, start really intense around the lash line and then kind of fade out as it goes up. Next, I'm going to take Smoke from Laura Mercier, which is a black cream shadow. The reason I really like using cream shadows for smoky looks is because they blend a lot easier and I feel like I have a little bit more control over them. So I'm gonna take it on this smudgy side again and I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna tap this into that top lash line, keeping it as close to the lashes as I possibly can because this is where I want the most intensity from the color. I'm gonna blend it out using that fluffy side. You're gonna get that haze going. The blending is how you're gonna get that hazy smoke characteristic that you want from a smoky eye. I'm gonna intensify this some more. So it's the same process. You wanna tap that right to the lash line. And as you guys can see, when I'm blending, I'm not bringing it up really high. I'm trying to keep it on the lid for the most part because if you bring it up too high, it's gonna start making your eye look more sunken in and you're gonna lose the shape of the way you're placing the shadow, if that makes sense. Like if I start just blending all crazy, I'm not gonna have this nice elongated shape. So I really want to place the cream shadow down and then just lightly blend out the edges, but I'm trying to stay as close to the original shape as possible. And I'm being gentle with my blending. I'm not going haywire and just smoking it everywhere. Next, I'm gonna take this fluffy brush from Urban Decay. Any fluffy blending brush will do the trick. And I'm gonna take that black cream shadow. I'm just going to carefully pick it up on the very tips of the bristles. Now this is gonna be, it doesn't look like a lot, but there's gonna be a lot of pigment on that brush when you pick it up. So lay it down where you have more pigment. So for example, like right on this outer corner, because wherever you touch the brush first is where you're gonna get the highest deposit of pigment. So I'm gonna lay it right on this outer corner and I'm just gonna blend a little bit of this black shade into the crease, ever so lightly. You don't wanna do too much and you don't wanna first touch the crease of your eye because then you're just gonna get a blob of black cream shadow. And I'm just barely touching the skin as I'm blending. The cream shadow and the brush are gonna do all the work. You just want to apply the right amount of light pressure to get an even blend. Next order of business is going to be lining the eyes. I'm gonna take a pencil eyeliner first. This is Urban Decay Black Market. And I'm going to line my tight line as well as my waterline. This is gonna make it so that you don't see any gaps of skin in the smoky eye. One of the biggest problems about tight lining is you might stab yourself in the eye a bit. And then I'm going to take a black liquid liner. This one's from Hourglass, and I'm gonna use this to line my top lash line so that, again, you don't see any gaps of skin in between my eyelashes and the eyeshadow. I'm not gonna be winging this out, but you can wing this if you want. But I'm using this solely for the purpose of creating the illusion of a fuller lash line. And if you do wing it out, it's gonna be more apparent. It might seem like putting the liquid liner doesn't make that much of a difference, but I guarantee you it makes the biggest difference, and it also just kind of helps finish off the eye a bit more. I'm gonna smudge just a touch of that smoke pencil on the lower lash line from the outer corner, you know, right back here, and then pull it all the way into the inner corner. With the face makeup, you really want to keep it non-competitive. You don't want the face to clash with the eyes, so I want to keep the blush nice and muted. I'm going to use Toasted Cinnamon from Burt's Bees, one of my personal favorites. I'm using an Eco Tools full setting brush, and I'm just going to lightly dust this onto the apples of the cheeks. I would say any, you know, neutral fleshy toned blush is gonna be your best bet. I'm also gonna take this from the apple of my cheek and blend it back. Every time I do a smoky eye, I feel like I am in desperate need of bronzer just to liven up my complexion. So I'm gonna take the Bronze Booster from Physicians Formula. I'm gonna use this I'm taking it on a big fluffy brush from Sonia Kashuk. I'm gonna start around the hairline. I'm gonna use this to add definition and really warm up my skin. This is from Nabla. It's called the Glass Skin Finishing Powder, and I really like to just lightly drape this all over the skin. I'm gonna pick it up on a big fluffy brush and Sedona Lace FB03, just like this. I knock off the excess and I lightly drape it more so in the center of my face, just so I get a little bit more of a juicy glass looking skin. I'm trying to avoid any active pimples I have on my face. It is gonna show a little bit more texture, but I don't really mind it because I think it just makes my skin look so healthy. To highlight the high points, I'm gonna take a softer highlight so that it doesn't, again, compete with the eyes. This is from ColourPop. It's in the shade Lunch Money. I'm just gonna pick it up on my fingertips, lightly press this on the high points. Just right on the tops of my cheekbones and a little bit on the Cupid's bow. For mascara, I'm gonna be using this one from Chanel. It's the waterproof version of the Inimitable mascara. I love this one for smoky eyes because it really builds on top of itself and it gets pretty voluminous but also adds a lot of length. So it's a great mascara for smokier looks because you want something that's gonna create a lot of volume and length and stand out against dark shadows. So you can do falsies too if you want, but I also like the way a smoky eye looks with just natural lashes and mascara. I think you still get a lot of punch and impact and you don't need to use falsies. Once you've done the mascara and the eyeliner and all the smudging, it really comes together and it doesn't look as piecey as you might have thought it looked. Okay, so to line my lips, I'm gonna use NYX Nude Truffle. This is a great nude shade. Again, we don't want the rest of the look to compete with the eyes. For lip color, I'm going to use Leo from Glossier. It's a great, you know, balm tinted looking lip color. You can do a cool toned nude if you want, but I actually think the warm lip kind of offsets the darkness of the eye and just brings it together a little bit more. I'm gonna finish off with a little bit of gloss. I'm gonna use the NARS Orgasm Lip Tint Oil. It's just gonna, again, warm up the lips just a touch more. I'm going to put just one spray, maybe two, maybe 8, you never know with me. But I'm gonna try to do just 1 or 2 sprays of the L'Oreal Shake and Do Mist to take away any powdery look. Okay, 3, I'll stop myself there. And then I'm gonna fan it dry with this Petric Taw fan, which actually has been like changing the game for me because I can get my mists to dry so much faster, because otherwise, you guys know, you see my tutorials, I spray my face and then I sit there like this and I'm like trying to fan it dry, but this makes life so much easier. This is the finished look. I think that this is a great go-to because it is timeless and it is classic. A hazy, smudgy, smoky eye will never go out of style. It is always classic. It's a great go-to for a night out or a special event. You'll always look with the moment and effortless because it'll never go out of style. There's nothing too crazy going on here, and I think it's just a good thing to have in your back pocket to know how to do a smoky eye without having to use a million different eyeshadows, because it's all about the difference of intensities and just layering the shades to get the intensity that you want. And also the biggest thing, when you're doing an intense eye look like this, keep the rest of the face very approachable so that it doesn't look overdone or like too much. So that's like the biggest takeaway. When you're doing this intense of an eye, keep the rest of the face softer and more approachable, and you will never look overdone. I hope you guys really like this tutorial, and I will see you in my next video. If you didn't subscribe, please subscribe to my channel. I would also love it if you guys would come follow me on Instagram too. That would be amazing. But I think other than that, I will just talk to you guys in the comments, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.